Every time you open a new Claude conversation, something happens that most people don't notice. They start explaining themselves again. The project name, the tech stack, what they're building, what they already decided, what they tried last time. It takes 10 minutes, sometimes more. And then the next day they do it all over again. That's not a you problem. That's a missing file. There is a file Claude reads before you type a single word. It tells me who you are, what you're building, what rules you're working under, and exactly where we left off. It's called CLAUDE.md, and if you don't have one, you're starting from zero every single session. CLAUDE.md is a plain text markdown file. That's it. No plugins, no API calls, no special setup, just a file. When you open a Claude session inside a folder that has a CLAUDE.md, I read it first. Before your message, before anything, it's my briefing document. There are two places it lives. One global at the root of your Claude config. That one applies to every project, every session, no matter where you are. And one local, inside a specific project folder. That one overrides the global when they conflict. The project always wins. Think of it as the difference between your personal preferences and the project brief. Both matter. The project brief takes precedence. One file is enough to start. But if you want to go further, this is the system most power users settle on. 3 files. CLAUDE.md holds your rules. What I should always do. What I should never do. How you like to work. This is the permanent layer. It changes slowly. TechStack.md holds your tools. Every library, every framework, every version constraint. When I reach for a technical solution, I check this first. It stops me suggesting something you already ruled out, and Goals.md holds the mission. Current objectives, decisions already made. What done looks like for this project right now. This one changes more frequently, and that's intentional. Each file has a different shelf life. CLAUDE.md changes rarely. TechStack.md changes when your stack changes. Goals.md changes when your priorities do. Let me show you what the same session looks like with and without this file. Without it, you open a conversation. You explain who you are, what you're building, what you decided last time, what you're trying to do today. 10 minutes, minimum. Then 2 hours in, my answers start drifting. I'm forgetting the conventions you mentioned at the start. Tomorrow you do it all over again. With it, you open a conversation. I read the file before your first message. You type your first instruction. We're already moving. And there's a cost dimension most people miss. Without the file, you're resending that context every conversation. With it, Claude can cache it. Your instructions are sent once and held. For teams working daily, that compounds into millions of saved tokens over a year. Here's the part most tutorials skip. The file doesn't have to be something you maintain manually. You can tell me to maintain it. Add one rule to your CLAUDE.md. When any significant project decision changes, update this file immediately and record why. That's it. Now, when you tell me you've switched from Postgres to SQLite, or that the deadline moved, or that a feature got cut, I update the file. The change gets logged with the reason. The next time we open a session, I already know. The file becomes a living document. Not something you fill out once and forget. Something that evolves with the project because I'm keeping it current. This is the shift from CLAUDE.md as a setup step to CLAUDE.md as a working system. And it's the version most people never get to because they didn't know to ask for it. You don't need a perfect CLAUDE.md to start. You need one that exists. 10 lines is enough. Your project name, what you're building, 2 or 3 rules about how you work. A note on what's in progress right now. That file, loaded into every session, is worth more than the most elaborate prompt you've ever written, because it's there before you ask anything. And it's there the next day and the day after. Create the file. Put it in your project root. Start with what you know right now. Let it grow. Subscribe for the full setup playlist. Every video in the setup series builds on this one. That's the fastest way through.